think we're trying to get the Rotten Tomatoes this working, and it doesn't seem to be working. Who knows? Let's see if we can get her on. But I am so good with technology, like incredible, that it doesn't work sometimes. And that is just one of the bad things about being so good at technology. I sound like an old person. I'm so good with technology. Like technology is so easy for me. What is up with the computer? What is up with the YouTube and the Instagram and the Twitter? Not the Twitter, but the Twitter. Uh, anyways, I don't even know if she's on. I don't even know if she knows. Because communication is very much the key to getting people to line up with what you're trying to do. And what we're trying to do is have conversations about signals and about intrusions and about cast that is very broad in the scope of, I don't know what I'm saying right now. I'm just trying to buy time until we can connect, which I don't think is going to happen. So this is all for nothing. This is all for nothing. Is this what people do? Is this what people do? Go on live and just talk and say things that absolutely don't make sense. So while I have you here, who is up still and it's in the middle of the night? I appreciate y'all if that's happening. Um, and how do you stay up at night in the middle of the night? Is it coffee? But coffee is not good because when you want to go to sleep, then you can't go to sleep. So like you just like slap yourself continuously, or every 5 minutes you put in an alarm and then you keep slapping yourself um until you stay awake, or you pinch yourself, or eat. I'm back again. I'm back in effect. There are there are things that I want to do right now. Um, I have some fun things. Got some really fun fan gifts from our friend Alyssa, who did an incredible job doing this. Why do I sound like just like a, was it, what, what is it when they talk really low? ASMR? Is that what it's called? Can someone tell me? No? Is that what it is? It's like speaking really low, soft. Or is it this much? This is really creepy though. I don't want to do that. It's like really weird, but it's also very comforting um, to me because I don't have to use my vocal cords. Although this is straining the vocal cords when you do talk like this. But going back to when I rudely interrupted myself. Um, Check this out. Alyssa, if you're out there, thank you so much for this. I finally got this. So this is before the movie even came out. It's coming out this Friday, but look how cool this is. She made this. It's called It's Mount Time. If you haven't seen the movie, you'll get it. Um, and if you haven't, then you will. So cool. And she also made this. Really, sorry. You're here. You're requesting. Oh, come do this. Come on. All right. Is it working?
Hey!
Hey! We made it work.
We made it work.
What is
Honestly, thank you for your tenacity because I was like, I don't know what to do. I can't make
it's
this
all good.
work.
I'm so glad we got it's like, before you had like GPS, before you just like you're on the phone, you're like, how do I get here? Is it this parking lot across this corner? And then like you're like, yeah, it is. And then you're like, no, but I'm in a different parking lot. It says Chevron, but it says Shell, and you're just like,
I
I'm
love
glad
it.
we didn't give up and we're making it work.
No, I'm like I said, I have nothing. I was like, I really want to talk to you. Like, I'm a big fan of your work. I'm a big fan of this movie. I really enjoyed watching it last night. I love the cup. It's mallet time, like that.
How cool is that? How
That
cool
is
is that?
so dope. Well, first of all, I'm Jacqueline. Thank you so much for the time. Congratulations on the film. I mean, I'm gonna start off because I know about it, but this is like it's an independent film, and people necessarily haven't maybe seen the trailer or watched it. So give them the quick log line, if you will, please, on the
Quick
film.
log line. The quick log line is I play a video archivist who discovers this deeply disturbing intrusion, these videos that somehow he thinks it's connected to his wife's death, and he goes on this rabbit hole to try and figure out if it does or if it does not. And it's a roller coaster of a ride. It's unsettling. It's entertaining, but also at the end of the day, it's gonna get you thinking.
Yeah,
It's
and
gonna
it's
get the
also
juices flowing.
yeah, it's an old school. Like what's interesting is because it's set in like the 90s, and it feels like a throwback to those sort of like thriller horror hybrid, like you don't know where this is going to go sort of movies, and I really love that about it. But the best thing is it's creepy pasta before the internet. You
Yeah,
remember it?
yes.
Because you're an elder millennial like me, and I love how it leaned into that like urban legend, that sort of thing that we got to deal with. The internet like gives, but it also takes away. There's no way you could convince kids that pop rocks and coke is going to kill you, but like
You're
this time
right. Yeah, yeah.
frame is still part of that, and that's kind of how your character ends up going down that rabbit hole in a lot of ways.
Yeah, he does. It's also just like this, like what intrigues you, what also scares you is like you sometimes can't help but want to keep watching. It's like the creepy
Yes.
pasta. It plays, and I've seen actually people have reactions. Reaction videos are a big thing, and reactions to the creepy pasta, and those are hilarious because it's just gold to see people's reactions. It's just there's nothing you can't fake that. And
Mm-hmm.
and and the whole uncanny valley where you're like, I don't know why I'm creeped out, but I am.
Yeah.
And the idea is like this looks real, but I know it's fake. And it's like this
Yeah.
in between that you're just kind of like trying to stay balanced, but unfortunately you're probably gonna fall on one side or the other.
Yeah, and then correct me if I'm wrong because I think this is right, but I think for this one, this is really you. This is your movie, and like really taking it, I would say, in like that you're in every scene, pretty much, and doing down that. Yeah.
There you
For a
go.
lot of people, this is going to feel like a different look from you compared to the stuff that you did in sort of like the dance film universe or Glee or Shadowhunters. Was that something that you really wanted to lean into? Is this a genre that you're a fan of?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think to me, I'm a fan of kind of twisting the genre. I'm a big fan of the genre, and also like the '70s thriller that I was late to the party. I wasn't around in the '70s, but like just kind of going backwards and watching these films that are so influential in so many films that we've seen. From Parallax to like The Conversation to
Yeah.
Blowout, and watching those, and Jacob really introducing me to those and kind of exploring that and seeing what that looks like also in the '90s, but in modern times with the
Yeah.
equipment that we have to make a film. I just thought it was just such a cool way to time travel without actually having that being the actual process of time traveling. And I really, to me, it's like leaning into just bringing something entertaining in a different genre and exploring it in a way that still kind of makes you feel something that you quite can't explain.
Yeah.
I always like that. Sometimes you can't put it into words, and that just enforces that we need to have more conversations over whatever we just watched.
Yeah. No, I do love it. It's definitely one of those movies. I call this a great lobby movie, meaning that after you see the movie, you're gonna be in the lobby talking about it. And like
Yeah,
you're gonna like want to like have a conversation with whoever it is about whatever it is that you just saw. And I don't want to spoil too much because again, I want people to enjoy the film. It's out tomorrow. But I will say this, watching it, because you're also like me, I'm gonna say that we are Zennials, X to millennials, because I refuse to use the word elder millennial or geriatric millennial because that is offensive. But the other cool thing about it is that there's a lot of, I would say, like 90s little Easter eggs throughout it. Like you really, I think the director and you must have like, I'm just curious if you guys had conversations about how you really felt like you were going back to that time period, because I do feel like it's in the set design, it's in even the way that it's shot, it feels a bit older in that respect.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think in kind of starting off with, like, I can watch a '60s film, I can watch an Alfred Hitchcock, I can watch a Hitchcock film and feel like, okay, it was just excellent filmmaking at that time, and the way it presented certain things, it felt timeless, even though we know the technology is old and all that. But this one, I felt like Jacob really wanted to make sure to assert that this equipment, this stuff was timeless in a way that it feels new. But even though we know it's older technology, but even when you're watching it, there's just kind of this, like, he likes to use the word patina, like with like Chicago, how Chicago really is. If you walk through the streets of Chicago, you feel like you're going through a time machine of, there's a 90s, like a neighborhood that is very 90s, and a neighborhood that's literally just like very 2030s, right?
Yeah.
I think that's very specific to Chicago, but the technology in that way, I think there's a cool way that they shot it where it's sexy. It's like there's this
Yeah.
like sexiness of like the way the analog equipment looks and the way you're touching in, and it's very musical that I think it ages well, and I think that was pretty neat to kind of see it in through that lens.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask one more about this one because you've talked a lot about the director, and I always like thinking about this because actors like yourself, you've done some incredible things. I think you can kind of, make choices now on what you do next. You're in a different position being in huge movies like Crazy Rich Asians and shows like Shadowhunters. What were those first conversations with Jacob like, and what did he say he wanted you to bring to the character, and sort of, yeah, like what attracted you to working with him in this?
Look, a part of me is like, it's having the confidence of my skill set, I guess, but also there's always that part where you're also a little insecure of like, well, why did you choose me? And as an actor, because you're like, yeah, my previous work doesn't call for, like, this is the guy that should
Yeah.
lead, psychological thriller, whatever genre that you want to call it. And so I kind of had to ask myself after reading, I was like, this is intriguing, and I want to read, I want to explore this more. But my first question is like, why me? And
So you're talking yourself out of a job immediately.
weirdly enough, yeah. It's just like, I guess it's also set up of like how the world sees you, right? It's like, well, you can only play this thing. We only know you from this, so why would we watch you in this? And to me, it's like, well, what I was reminding myself while having those little thoughts is like, no, actually, the these emotions and these things, that trauma, we all deal with, and whatever genre it is, it's up to obviously everyone, the whole team, to kind of bring that to life, whether it be horror or musical or whatever. But it's bringing the authenticity, which was the most important part for me. So his journey was about not knowing and trying to know more, and with every clue, it always seemed like he was going towards that prize that he might be disappointed with. And I think we go through like life kind of going through, well, I hope this gets me closer to my goal, well, I hope this gets me closer to that trophy, when at the end of the day you kind of really don't know, because you don't know what your path will bring. But also in this mystery of lining it with thematic, there's a couple themes in this, but with dealing with grief or not dealing with grief, what you look at, or how you look away, or what you're neglecting, you're going to try and find it someplace else, which is not going to help with facing the thing that you actually need to face. So that's what I kind of really said, oh, I can do that with confidence. I feel like I can really bring this story to life. Then, with the fun parts of like broadcast intrusions and having Dan Martin, our special effects artist, doing these incredible intrusions that just is eerie and unsettling. That's the best word I can describe. You're just like, I don't know how I feel about this, but I might want to punch the TV right now. Right?
So I was going to ask you how much of that, and again, was practical, because that's really like the scares that you originally like lean into. How much of that was like on-set physical?
Well, I mean, Dan Martin, he filmed these intrusions from London, so he built the set. He had animatronics kind of like move a creepy certain way, and then while there was like a performer that was doing it as well, I think it was James Swanson, I think is the name, and but watching it was like on the VHS, kind of like
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the TV tube screen. Like I was watching over and over again to the point where I was thinking about it, dreaming about it, or having nightmares about it while I was going to sleep before I get on set. So I like lived with it throughout the whole 4 weeks of filming this, and so I that was very helpful, but also disturbing throughout the whole process.
And the reason why I asked that is that's a big commitment because you're not physically there. And so I was like, you could just create that screen with a little like green thing that they're like, oh, later we're going to plug this in here. But like, because they made it physical, you could literally let it wash over you in a way like that doesn't happen, I think, in other movies.
Yeah, and it's just like in that era, having the tracking and having it kind of go in and out. I think there's that you can sense that there's something that just like is trying to jump out the screen at you,
Yeah.
or it could at any moment if we wanted to go there.
Yeah.
So I thought that era is always so interesting. Any era, and I think we're about to have that as well in our this generation, is like that cusp of like that technology just like going full throttle, like
Yeah.
and fast forwarding to the point where we're just trying to catch up to it.
See that?
So yeah, it's scary,
Whenever
but
whenever I see
amazing.
those robot dogs by Boston Dynamics, I get like more. I'm like, why are we making things move like that? Like it's
Yo,
not the
I
TV.
post that. I post those up on my
I
Instagram because
know.
I'm just like, you. How are you not freaked out by this? I'm like amazed by it because it's just they're doing like parkour and they're like dancing and flipping, and
He
you're
can
like,
open doors.
yo, yeah. And then just imagine getting punched by one of those. Look, big ups. I love AI. Don't get mad at me. You know, it's all good. Let's have a good relationship and all that. But like, you're freaky. You're scaring me.
It's scary. I mean, literally, the raptors in Jurassic World couldn't really like open doors, we thought, and that's what it feels like when the raptors like show that they can open the door in Jurassic World. I'm like, I just don't like this idea. Okay. Um, I have to say, since we have so many folks, like when we started the chat, there's so many folks from like all over talking about, oh my God, from Brazil, from this place, whatever. You have such a global fan base, and it's impartial because of one of the things I know you from, but I think something that it's just, I would think it was an incredible thing to be a part of as Shadowhunters, because still to this day, I have people like, I'll like see a hashtag on Twitter of like still talking about Bring It Back. I'm like, y'all, we got the movie. Like, this is like, we're good. We finished it out. But I'm just curious now, looking back on it, like, do you think it's just going to be a singular thing that you did? Because I do feel like there's just not a lot of things that you can do on television that can reach that wide of an audience, you know?
Yeah, it's I think it was during that period of time. I think with this the Shadowhunters universe, and I think the characters that came out of it, and the way that I think they were developed and portrayed by the brilliant cast and the brilliant team behind it. Everyone was just excited to go to work and to kind of just really um, make something out of these relationships. And I think that's to me the biggest part. Outside of you could talk about the characters and their traits and all that, but it was this relationship and how they either worked together or how they argued together. But at the end of
Mm-hmm.
the day, they always wanted to find some sort of I guess solution, or even just like an understanding between each other. And I think specifically, I think it's very, very big in the LGBTQ community that especially with Malik and that relationship. I just I'm really it really blows my mind, but I'm also you know looking back at like what we do as actors or even performers, but just really excited that we I get to put something up there, and then and I've said it a few times, and then just there's the audience and the fans have basically full ownership of it.
Yeah.
They can create whatever they want to create out of it, and I think that's the coolest thing, and that gets to live on for a very long time. And I mean, look, like it's spawning like these really cool fan art that I just like it just blows
Yes.
my
I was
mind.
just
Like,
about to say that
well,
is
like
one
and
of the
the
best
same
parts.
like look at this one. It's like already like
Oh
someone
my gosh. Oh my
she made
gosh.
James already with the mallet. Like it's crazy. The movie
Oh,
hasn't even
somebody
come out
like
yet.
you is
They
this
made
like
this. A fan. This is a
wow.
fan.
The fan
Yeah,
made this.
yeah.
Oh
This is
my
probably out there. So I
lord.
mean, like it's just crazy how
That's so
how
dope.
how they get to have like ownership over these characters, and I just I it makes my job like amazing. I don't even call it a job anymore. It's just a cool, um, I don't know, a conversation. I don't even know what the word is, but it's just a cool exchange between
Yeah.
like performing and artist audience participation.
I will say this too, and it was one of the reasons why I really want to talk to you. You are such a chameleon because to look at what you do with something like Shadowhunters, to look at this, and then to look at Glee, and then to look at what you did with like Crazy Rich Asians, where you're walking in as Mister I'm gonna steal your girl. Like it's like legit. Like you really, I really love actors who I feel like I'm not like they can disappear into various different places, and not every actor can do that because it's sort of like you're just seeing that actor again. It's like I know you're playing Deadshot, but we know you're Will Smith. Like you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Like that's great because Will Smith is great. But I just love how you can disappear into these roles and give us so many things. And just on a side note, I think I've watched the you know Malik running in at the wedding scene probably about 50 times if I'm gonna just real talk. Like I
Oh,
have
so
that
you're the one with
song.
all the views. You're the one. We got you. All right.
That's some
Thank you.
great filmmaking. Forget it. That is great filmmaking. Every beat of that scene, I could recreate it on a TikTok tomorrow. Anyway,
Oh
but
man.
that's it. That's I'm done with my fangirl moment on that one. The other thing too I wanted to ask you is I ask everybody this, and we will try to get to any questions if we can at the before you get out of here. Again, thank you so much for your persistence. I cannot say that enough because I literally was like, this ain't gonna happen. I know
Oh,
it's
we
not.
make it happen. Yeah,
I
we
know
get
we
to
will
that
make
location.
wonders.
Yeah.
I'm asking everyone's because like we're here, we're not at a junket, we're not sitting across from each other in one of those weird hotel rooms with this sort of like, used to be extra time, but just this fact that we're at home. Is there anything that you've been watching or doing? Because like I feel like everyone kind of gets a little bit more time, I would say, while they're at home, maybe to like enjoy like binging something or reading a book that you haven't done or like starting a new film series.
Yeah, you know, I bought recently a drum like electric drum machine or like actual like drum set, and I I've always wanted to do it. I'm not very good. I don't play any instruments, but something about just like banging on on with a stick, I feel like that's very caveman. Like I think I could do that, and I've been doing it just
Ah,
for the past week, and I think I look like I know what I'm doing, but it doesn't sound like what I look like I'm doing. So I'm trying to like converge the two and then get to a place where it actually sounds decent and learning the basics. But it just I get into a zone and it's the coolest feeling. It reminds me of, doing this thing where you have absolutely no reason to be good at it outside
mm,
of doing it over and over again, and you start to
yeah.
like develop some sort of skill set. And but there's also just no goal of like I need to be a drummer on whatever, like go on
Yeah.
tour. It's just like I do it for like sometimes it goes on to an hour and you're like, oh, I actually have to like do things to contribute to society.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something that I'm just like I just fell in love with, and I hope that I am able to keep up over time.
I really do like that one. Also, I feel as a dancer, you have body control. So the drums are actually probably the most perfect instrument for you because that is much about like making your hands and feet do different things. I picked the piano because I only have to have control over my fingers. That was the little instrument that I tried to pick up during the pandemic. I still suck.
You don't have the
No,
head.
it is hard enough getting these 10 fingers to do what I want. And trust me when I say that, I look at piano players now with awe. I'm like, you have no idea how hard that is. It takes decades. But anyway, no, I appreciate that one. The other thing is, I wanted to ask you, what else do you have in the works coming out that folks can be on the lookout? Obviously, tomorrow, folks need to go check out your film, but anything else you want to sort of let them know that's
um,
coming down the pipe?
yes, you can pre-order the film on Apple TV now, or it's in select theaters, and it actually comes out on Friday, the
Friday. Oh,
22nd. Yeah,
today
October
is.
22nd.
Why do I
I know
think
we don't know
today
what day
is?
it is.
I think today is Thursday. I'm so sorry. It's Friday. Thank you.
We
I'm thinking today is Thursday.
I would love it for it to be Thursday. So I'm right there with you. But I also on November 5th there's a really fun romantic comedy Christmas movie that's coming out now on Netflix. It's called Love Hard. I get to make a fun appearance in it and play with Jimmy O Yang and Nina Dobrev and Darren Barnett and James
Awesome.
Saito. It's just a fun cast. We filmed that during like in the middle of the pandemic, and I'm just amazed that we've made a movie during that time, and it's really sweet and really funny, and I think it's cool to hit these like the Halloween and the kind of Christmas
Yeah, you're hitting the
holidays to end the
holidays.
year off.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to be part of it, and hopefully it can bring a little bit of smiles to people at home.
We've talked to him as well, actually. He's been on our series. We talked to
Who,
him
Darren?
when Jimmy O
Oh,
Yang. We
Jimmy.
talked
Oh,
to
yeah.
yeah, we talked to him when I think Space Force came out. I think that's what we talked to him about. And so I'm like, I like the synergy of this one. I'm digging it.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
well, I know you have to get out of here. It looks like most of these are Malik questions, so I'm not gonna make you answer any of them. But seriously, thank you so much. And then I want to make sure I
Malik for
correct
life.
Malik
There you
for
go.
life.
That's the
Oh,
answer that you want, right? That's the answer
that's
that
the
you
answer that you want. But yeah,
want.
thank you so much. And again, folks can check out the film and select theaters or download it on Friday, not tomorrow, because it is not Thursday, no matter how much I try.
I mean, it could be in your head. It could be in your head, and then you could pre-order it, and you'd be like, oh, I gotta wait now. Okay, fine, but it's there and ready for you on Friday. So, no, thank
Yep.
you for this interview or this chat, and thank you for all the people that
Yes.
stuck around through the technical difficulties. But look, I think that's when fun things happen. So I had really fun
Yes.
time with you. So thank you.
I will say this. Please make sure you save it when you exit out of here so that we can repost it. That's the reason why we host it, is we want to be able to repost this. So please, when you exit,
I
just
will
make sure you
save it.
save it. Thank you.
Okay, will do.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, have a good day. Bye.
You too.